going to show you how to remove the front T. On all Model 3 variations to date, they all have this chrome T in the front of the hood. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do. So we'll do a step-by-step. You are going to have the waterless wash. You're just going to go ahead and spray a little bit on the microfiber. You're just going to wash it around the perimeter. I would say like 4 or 5 inches away from that. Once you've done that, you're going to go ahead and get your green tape, and you're going to create a triangle around there. Try to kind of get underneath the emblem. There's not a lot of adhesive right there. So I just kind of get about a 6-inch tape, trying to kind of get under there like this, okay? There you go. Oh, okay. One pro tip that I like to do is I like to fold this over on all of these so I can remove it a lot easier as well, okay? So now that that's done, we're done with this tape as well, and this is going to be plenty for the whole installation. So we're going to go ahead and open up the front like that. I'm just going to go ahead and put this underneath. Why? Because it's going to allow you to hold it down so that you can push it down and also raise away from it so you don't touch any of the bumper. We're going to go ahead and use some heat gun. When you do this, number one tip is to not put it in just one area and hold it there. You want to, especially if you want to reuse this, you don't want to put too much heat in one area. It will eventually melt a little bit. You're going to use it at the highest setting. Be about a hang loose away, and you're going to keep it moving. And we're going to focus on the top right here on the T, and then after that we'll move our way down. So about here. All right, so what that does, it essentially loosens up the adhesive so it's a little bit easier to remove. You're going to get the emblem removal tool that we provided. Because I put the tape a little bit underneath it, you're going to have very low risk of damaging it. And you're just going to seesaw back and forth. When you get closer, slow down, and then it exits from one to another. I like holding it with my nails like this, and you just go straight up. And you got your top T. The reason why I went straight up with my nails is because this is still pretty sharp. So if you leverage it on one side, what will happen is these corners are sharp and it could dig into the actual clear coat, which is not what you want. So we're going to go ahead and now focus on heating up the second part. I like going from left to right because what I'll do is I'll seesaw this way and then exit in the bottom of this logo. So same thing. High heat, hang loose. So one indicator is when you touch it, it should feel really, really hot. So be careful about touching that. I did about 6-7 passes, I think. You could go a little bit more. I mean, the distance is what helps so that you don't damage anything. I'm going to just go ahead and get it started underneath. Notice how I like keeping it small first, and then I could extend it out. When I first get it out, look at this, I'm in. And then once I'm in, this is pretty far apart, but we can go ahead and start seesawing. Okay, and then make sure it's underneath this section, which it is. And then go ahead. Okay. All right, so this is sometimes what happens. In your toolkit, you will have a longer string. You just need to reinstall it. I'm really close, so I think I'm going to be able to get it done without reinstalling that line. You can see all of this is loose, and then you're going to go straight down, back and forth. And then same thing, when I get to the end, I slow down, so you're not leveraging it against each other either. So I know I can lift it up. So same thing, I'm going to go ahead and lift it up. I'm going to watch it, and look at that, it just comes off. We're going to go ahead and start removing this stuff. So before I get started, one thing that you want to do is actually prime this a little bit. So we're just going to use it on the tape a little bit. All right, so what I'm doing is before I use a brand new wheel, I'm just kind of wearing it just a little bit. Okay, once it's done, you want to put it on the lowest setting. You don't need a massive high RPM. Same thing with the heat, you don't want to stay in one area, right? You have to be extremely careful with this. So watch me when I do the top part right here. So I just kind of go through. Okay, spun out a little bit. You can see while it's getting rid of the material here, it's also getting rid of the adhesive right here. So just keep going. So whenever you do the emblem removal, you have to be very, very careful. I'm not muscling in it. And really anything with wrapping or using, doing auto work, a lot of times it's not really muscling. You let the tool do the work. So this tool was specifically designed to remove this adhesive. So that's what I would do is you're just letting it spin. You can let it spin out if you notice that. It kind of almost gives you that, stop a little bit, get back, and then go to the next section. The other thing about this is when it spins, it creates friction. When it creates friction, it creates heat. So you don't want to stay in one area because you don't want to create too much heat, which is not good for a clear coat as well. So that's why I move around a lot from side to side. All right, so I still have some left over, but for the majority of the area, you can see that the big chunks are all gone, which is what I wanted. So now we can go ahead and remove some of the tape. We're just gonna see how much of it we can remove, and then based on that, we can see how much more eraser wheel we need. You can see that it did a really good job so far. This is a waterless wash I like using. There's still some of this stragglers right here. I'm gonna go ahead and brush that real quick. Great. So this is the prep bottle that you created earlier in the video, and it's just an alcohol and clean water mix, and we are now going to transition to doing alcohol. And you can see that once the emblem is this state, that's when you kind of switch to alcohol. Just gonna go ahead and get a healthy amount. Let's see how much I can get. Again, very, very close. And you can see on the camera, it is very, very nearly done. I'm gonna go ahead and do a couple more passes. And during this time, be patient. Try to really tackle one line at a time. And you could go with the line as well. So I'm gonna go this way. And then make sure you're frequently spraying. You will see a little bit of the outline. Part of this is, this was purchased in April. It's already December at the filming of this shoot. Typically, what a pro shop would do is they'll get their polisher, but you don't necessarily need that because we're gonna be covering this up in color vinyl. So what I would do is first, make sure your hand is clean. Just kind of run your finger over it and just make sure that you don't see any bumps. So for the rear, there's gonna be potentially 3 areas that you may have to remove badges on. The first one is the performance badge. This is called a Luda. This is very, very flat, and this is actually the OEM one. And you can see that it is very shallow. The other one is you are gonna have a chrome dual motor badge if you have an all-wheel drive. And then for both of those variations, you will have the Tesla at the right where the trunk hatch is. So the dual motor and the Tesla is going to be the same. So let's just say this is going to be the dual motor or the Tesla logo straight across. I actually have the tape here, so I'm gonna go ahead and close this off just so I can show you. You highly, highly want to make sure that you tape around it as well. When you get under it, watch this. I'm gonna see if we can get some close up here. Try to get under like this. Okay, because when you move around, that's going to be the highest risk of where it's actually going to damage. So you want to go right under it. And for these, I know this is going to be a lot more work. You should get it all across like here and even the bottom, right? You could continue to use this. Make sure you heat it. it's so small that I would typically create the line a lot smaller. If you're just doing this, you don't want it like this wide. So what you do is you get under it the best as you can, and then you're gonna kind of work your way in, and then you do the same thing. If that doesn't work, you could use a spudger tool like this one. It is pretty thin, and then you can kind of get under it, but when you do it, make sure you're not leveraging too much. So for the Luda badge, it's going to be very, very similar. You're going to create a perimeter around it, and then you should be able to, here, let me just show you how the adhesive is. It is a fat adhesive that goes all around the whole thing. With enough amount of heat, you might be able to just kind of try to raise it up a little bit. Again, when you do this, make sure there's tape on this side so you don't damage any of the clear coat. So once you're done wrapping the vehicle, if you do want to rebadge, make sure you save all the pieces that you plan on rebadging. These are very, very easy to lose, so just put them in a safe spot. We are going to have guides so that it's super easy to install it back. We're also going to give you vinyl versions of it, so if you like a flatter profile, you can also use that. Don't forget to remove all the tape, and we'll see you in the next module.